This is the It's Time to Refresh podcast with Brad Refresh, the podcast about life, music, traveling, shit, literal shit that is, and weird and wacky stories with Brad, and a range of guests from the planet Earth. Feel free to share the pod with your pals, your mom, your neighbor's dog, or even your shrink. It's all fun. You can follow our Facebook group called It's Time to Refresh Community, or It's Time to Refresh on Instagram. Write into the pod, ask questions, and share your stories. Enjoy the pod.
Hey kid, what time is that?
It's time to refresh.
You all right? How we doing? Just want to take 2 minutes of your time before we start this week's podcast to tell you about our Patreon. Patreon is a tool that we're using to help the podcast grow, give you better content, and, well, as I said, just let the podcast grow. So we've got 3 tiers. The first tier, there's only 20 of these spaces available, and it's £1 for life, and that's for It's Time to Refresh Originals. So if you've tuned in from day one and you want to join the cause, you can sign up for £1. Just follow the link in the description. We've got the standard Patreon, which you get access to bonus episodes, some exclusive content, Patreon specials, which we'll be recording, and early access to all future episodes. So you'll be getting them on a Tuesday instead of a Friday, which I think is fucking amazing for £3. That's less than a coffee. And then we've got our legend status VIP Patreons, which is £10. And that gets you tickets to all my gigs, and it will get you free entry to any It's Time to Refresh associated events, gigs in the future. So that's a little hint of what's coming up in the future. If you do like the podcast, then please share it with your mates. We are trying to grow this little thing we've got going. We've got some amazing guests coming up in the future as well, and we want this to go bigger and better. So sign up at Patreon at patreon.com/It's Time to Refresh. Thank you. Enjoy the episode. All right, back once again for episode 23 of the podcast. On this one, we've got Gary Kear from Carlisle, DJ and promoter. Been around, well, a long time. I think the earliest I've known you of is about 2007, but I mean, you were around before that. So this is Gary. How you doing, mate?
I'm alright, pal. Good to see you.
Gary was meant to come on about 3 months ago, but just with timing issues and everything like that, we haven't been able to sort of meet up. Wanted Gary on the podcast for a while just because I would say you're one of the more prolific figures within the Carlisle dance scene, really, aren't you? You seem to be.
Yeah, if you want to say that.
No, but it's. I'm not sort of bigging you out like that. But what I mean is, like, if there's anything comes to town, like any outside promotions or like that, you're always sort of first on the list.
Yeah, I do get connected a lot that way. Yeah.
Yeah, and you're obviously running your own events and stuff like that.
Yeah, it helps.
So we'll start from. Well, I was going to say start from the beginning, but obviously I asked you off pod. You've been running the Italian job. Yeah. Which was the last one in the Black Box.
Yep.
And were they in different venues before that?
Yeah, we started in the Brickyard. We were meant to start, I think it was like March, April 2020.
Yeah.
But obviously the pandemic lockdown and that came along. So that got put on hold twice. Then we started August last year in the Brickyard. It was amazing. It was a lockout at the end of the night, obviously because everyone was ready to go for the party and stuff.
Yeah.
And then we had another one. And unfortunately, there was a little bit of bother. And he didn't want us back, so we had to move venues, which was a bit gutting because the Brickyard to me is the best venue to be in Carlisle, probably Cumbria.
Right,
now Fusion's not gone. Now Fusion's gone out rated the best anyway, definitely.
There's a lot of different style events and that on there as well, isn't there?
Yeah, they don't really accept dance events, to be fair, but I was quite lucky to get in there.
Sort of took a chance on your event. Before we get into the beginning of your story and stuff like that, I just want to ask. Obviously, I've seen the Italian job come up. What's the ethos or anything behind the Italian job? Why did you start that up?
Because I'd done an Italian special just as a one-off at the Brickyard. That was November 2019. That was a really good success as well. I got the love back for the Italian, so I put it on, just called it Italian Dance Special. Mm-hmm. And I thought, there was people asking, are you going to do more stuff? So I just came up with the name Italian Job and I just went for it. It's been decent, so I've had a few misses, but some more good events than misses, yeah. But it's
So-
such a small scene, Italian dance, like.
Yeah.
It's a very small scene, and I get excited. I love putting events, and I was putting them on a bit too maybe often. I should just keep them to the bare minimum of 2-3 a year.
Yeah, I fell for the same mistake, thinking that I think you just learn this through promoting as you go on. No one tells you this, but
Yeah, definitely.
We had a couple of successful events, and I was like, we've really got the ball rolling here. And then you go into it, and it's like, right, well, I should put on more, and then obviously it dilutes the excitement and stuff.
And I knew that would happen as well, but I love it that much. So.
You just get excited by it, don't you?
Yeah, proper.
What I was going to ask is, I know obviously Italian, but is there a set theme on the music policy or anything like that?
Well, it's meant to be 100% Italian dance, an Italian piano house as well. But I mean, some of the DJs have dropped some like zone classics, which it kind of fits in Italian. Like, I mean, General Bass ICU, that's one of my favourite tunes, but it's not even Italian, it's German. But there's like, it's just the synth stuff, the Italian, but like, you get some like old school dance. I mean, I'd rather not because I want it to be Italian, but
yeah,
it is what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just wondering. That's all. I have been meaning to come through to one just to see it because, like, I grew up on Italian, and some of the lineups you've been putting on, it's very much what I sort of grew up on.
Yeah.
As you say, like when you've had John on before, you had. I can't remember who the second event was, and I was like
Matt Fear, maybe.
Matt Fear, yeah.
Yeah, from Cumbria.
So like I'm a big fan of him. So it's like it's sort of very appealing to me as a sort of hunter. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right. So what we're gonna say is I'm gonna go right back to the beginning. Earliest I heard of you was 2007. That's when you sort of come onto the radar for me.
Yeah.
And that was a Dance Factory CD with Finchy and Fergie. Does that ring a bell?
Yeah, Fergie, aye.
And that was the first time I'd heard of Gary Kear. So like that was like a big moment for you? Because I think I can remember everyone having that CD pack. So like, did that establish you at all? Or do you
I think the Dance Factory ones did help. Yeah, I think them packs definitely did help.
More so in like the West as well. Like
probably aye. Going over to fusion and stuff.
Yeah, that's my earliest recollection. But with you, do you mind if you just go right back to the beginning? Is that all right?
Yeah. It all started when, 11, 12, 13-year-old, I was listening to zone tapes. I got my hand on them somehow, I don't know. And obviously just like I started getting into like Bonkers, the hardcore CDs and stuff, and listening to Radio 1, Dave Pearce, Judge Jules, things like that. And then I got some decks, I think it was Red Dwarfs, Bell Drives, they were awful. And I went into Pink Panther Records and there was an ad in there, DJs Wanted, but I can't remember if it was mentioned if it was for under 18s or what. It must have been because I was only like 14, 15, I think I was 15.
Yeah.
And it was got the demo made, handed it in. Got a call, can you come for a mix at my house? It was Chris Dynamite, who runs the Vibe under 18s.
Yeah.
And I went to his house for a mix, but with me having these belt drive cams, he put us on his 1200s, and it was like totally weird.
Different feel, isn't it?
Yeah, totally different. Like I was like getting all embarrassed and angry, but he wasn't in the room, and I was thinking, oh my God, what am I going to do? But I don't know, he must have liked what I heard or whatever, I don't know, because he said, right, I want to book you for the 518s at Freedom nightclub, which used to be Pagoda in the 90s.
That's like a bucket list of venue.
Yeah, it was. And to be honest, I'd done the first set. I was 15-year-old, not blowing my own trumpet, but I done really good. Like, and listen back, it was good. And then I heard him. He was on the mic, and he was big shout something like Gary Kear. This is the first of many, and I was like, yes, so he's gonna have us back.
Yeah.
He said that on the mic while I was mixing, DJing. So yeah, it all started from there really.
What was the demo you gave him? What style was it?
It'll have been more like trance dance stuff.
Right.
I'd love to have that demo now. I'd love to. It'll have been stuff like, because on the set I played like Bartez on the Move and
Tune.
Yeah, Mint Tune.
So what year was this then?
Rank One Airways. That was 2001.
Right. Yeah. So
I think I got my decks in 2000. I think it was I got my decks on Christmas. 99, 2000. I think that's when I got my decks.
Right.
And within the year I was doing under 18s.
So yeah, the sort of the tunes you'd be playing sounds about right for the time and place, but big tunes though. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I could totally miss that era, to be fair.
Yeah, amazing, man.
But like as I say, like to be coming through at that time, it's great. Like,
Yeah.
So after that event, like, what was it like for your mates and that around you? Like, were they big on the music or were?
Yeah, they were all there because we went to like the ones before that called IB for Mania. That was that was a huge influence on me. I wanted to be a DJ. Like, I was into dancing and all sorts, and like we all went to those events.
Can you remember who was on? Like, who you seen and you thought, I like what they're doing? So
DJ Sai.
Right.
They was in the Sand Centre with the big old stage, all the dancers and stuff. 1,200 under 18s. It was amazing. I've never seen anything like that in my life, even since like never ever seen anything. The queues for it. But yeah, there was one of them. It wasn't the first one I went to. I think it was the second or third. And they had a big projector at the back of this thing, and Sai was there, and I was just like that, like, and he was here scratching away and that, and I was like, I want that.
What was it?
I didn't have decks then.
Hardcore, like.
Yeah, I was hardcore. Like.
Right, interesting. So is that I thought you got into it about 2004ish. That's why I was asking. So,
well, basically, I did because I turned 18 in 2004.
Right.
So legitimately, I did, but I was doing under 18s.
Yeah.
But because I look so young, so imagine me at 15. I'd have looked about 11. So I couldn't get in these clubs to do the over 18s and I was totally gutted because I could have done them, but I had to wait till I was 18.
Right.
But I'd done a lot of good under 18s gigs, like level 2, which I think is level 2.
Bart's, isn't it? Or was Bart's.
Yeah, or Electric Soup, is it maybe?
Electric Soup, yeah.
I'd done some vibes there and
yeah.
at the Brickyard, and then there was places like the White House 19 in Carlisle and obviously Freedom. And then it started the Excess and the Fusion things once I got to 18.
So I would say you were quite rounded as like a performer, like going to different, because a lot of them venues are quite iconic if you look at Cumbrian venues as what they are, like as you say. So you had good exposure almost straight off the bat. Was that down to Vibe? Was that the main one booking you at the time? Right. So then when you got to 18, what happened then?
He had the nights. Chris had the nights called Destiny, which was at XS.
Right.
And then I somehow got onto Dobby, doing the Dance Factory ones.
Right.
But there was a bit of a ball there because like I don't know if there was a dispute between Chris and Lee, but they both kind of wanted us like exclusive to their events.
Right.
Not because I was good or anything, just because there may be a bit between each other. I don't know. I don't know.
Now, though,
I know.
Like you see it now,
it's pathetic. It's all politics in it, but yeah.
You can't play for one gig if you're playing for one, which. If they're within a week of each other or if they're in the same town, then it's fair enough.
Yeah.
But like as you say, it is just politics behind the scenes.
Ah, definitely.
We have got onto sort of stuff like that in the past with past guests, and as sad as it is, it's just the harsh reality of it. It's like, but as a promoter yourself, you could probably see that if you booked, say, your headliner and they're on in another venue a couple of weeks before, it sort of dilutes your idea then, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's annoying.
So there's both sides of the coin. So what did you do then? Did you stay at doing the Destiny events or what?
I was kind of doing both, but I mean, I owe Chris a lot because he gave me my first choice, but first chance, but the Dance Faction nights just totally blew up, didn't I? And I kind of like wanted a piece of that, like, but I did not want to stay exclusive to anyone. I just wanted to do both, but Destiny was doing nights in Workington and Carlisle, but Dance Factory was from Workington, but Dance Factory doing events from Workington and Carlisle.
Right.
So it was so like awkward and stuff, but yeah, I was doing things like that. In fact, to be honest, it wasn't Dance Factory at the time, it was Buzz.
Buzz, right?
Yeah, because I think he started Dance Factory maybe about 2006 or 2005.
Right.
Earliest
I can remember was 2006, because I remember in 2004 they did a couple of Buzz events, and they did a Buzz versus Sanctuary as well, didn't they?
Yeah, because I sorted a bus, we all went through to a Buzz versus Sanctuary, and I handed a tape in to Farrell for Sanctuary.
Can you remember your first like Buzz or Dance Factory, what it was, or anything like that?
My first Buzz one was a Buzz versus Sanctuary, and they got my name spelt wrong on the flyer, put Gark Kear instead of Gary Kear, and it annoyed us. Yeah, it was, I think I was on first or second. Took like a 60-seater coach through, like totally buzzing, and I was struggling at the time because they never had any monitors on, and I've never learnt myself to headphones mixed. I always thinged on monitors. Someone came in and knocked the monitors, and I was like, whoa. Because technical wise, I don't have a clue. I just know how to mix and DJ, but yeah, I remember it. It was amazing because obviously Fusion and all, what a club that was like.
So was this the first time? So the first time you went to Fusion, was that when you handed the demo in?
To be honest, I can't even remember. I don't. Yeah, I handed the demo into Farrell for that night when I DJ'd there, but I don't exactly remember how I got onto Dobby.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah. So at this point, when you're going to the Buzz event and stuff, what style of music are you playing? Have you moved on to the more?
I was still playing Italian stuff, but I was playing like a lot of BCD stuff and bounce, Alex Kear, but mainly like old Sanctuary Cricket stuff.
Right.
So it was all obviously because it was 2004 at the time.
Yeah.
So it was like hard house.
A bit of everything,
trance,
isn't it?
yeah, the way I've always been.
That was the perfect era. I still listen to tapes, CDs and recordings from back then with admiration because I like listening to there's a lot of legendary CDs out there that everyone holds in high regard, but there's Top Gun CD where the 1 minute they're playing like Exia Kiss Me and it goes into it like brain bashes and I'm just like I couldn't do that. You couldn't do that now.
That's my style, but that's probably. I wouldn't say I copied them, but that's my kind of style.
You can tell listening to your mixes though, because I have listened to a couple of them. I listened to one on the way through. It was a Century Anthems volume that you did, and you can tell where your influences have came from. Even you can tell with the Radio 1 stuff, with like when you're playing the 4 strings, Take Me Away, stuff like that. So you can hear like pockets of different things. Do you know what I mean?
That's from listening to Desire, John G and the boys.
So. What was popular in your area at the time? Sort of that time, like
2004. You mean?
Yeah, like
Sanctuary.
Were them CDs and tapes floating around? Is that what it was?
Zone as well, but Sanctuary.
I can remember the buzz of everyone getting like cricket CDs and Century tapes and stuff like that. So. And I always remember the one that floated around, the Alex Kear one from, that was a bit later, but 2006, that floated around our end for ages. It was like, it's an iconic one, isn't it? So from 2004, you're playing at Fusion and that, do you think to yourself, actually, like, the ball's rolling with my DJing and stuff? Do you feel like it's picking up momentum at this point?
Kind of, yeah.
Were you taking it seriously, or was it just more for fun? Or
yeah, definitely. I don't think I've ever really took it seriously, to be honest, because I've always been behind the times, never had any money. Like, I was always struggling to get the latest gear and stuff. I didn't really get a final to get into CDJs until like I think it maybe 2009 or something.
Right.
I think it was 2009.
Right. So from doing the dance factories, the Chris Fletcher events, the Destinies and the Vibes and stuff like that, where does the house journey come in for you? Like, because I know you done some house stuff, like, where did it progress from?
I probably always listened to it a bit on Radio 1, but I wasn't really massively into it because I was just crazy for Sanctuary and Zone, but mainly Sanctuary. I think it will have been. We've got there was a man who owned a bar on Botchergate and he ran buses to Retro Tall Trees.
Right. And
there was a lot of like older like mates who were like a few years older. They all went there, and I went to Tall Trees in I don't know if it was 2006, 2005. Might have been even 2004 to be honest with you. But yeah, I went to Retro Tall Trees and I was like, it was blown away. I've never seen anything like that in my life.
But what was the vibe if you had to compare it to going to a bounce night or Italian night to going to like a house night? Did you feel a difference?
Yeah, it was a bit more. I don't know how to explain it, to be honest with you. Like maybe a bit more grown up. Like it sounds a bit weird, but I don't know. It was a bit.
I know.
Not as rowdy.
What you mean.
Obviously, not as rowdy and stuff because. Like you get the bounce nights, everyone's just bouncing about. But I mean, everyone's still off their head and stuff, and they're all wrecked. But I don't know. It was a bit more. Because it was a total different level. Like Retro Tall Trees, you got 7,000 people there.
Yeah.
They're like the bounce nights. Some were only getting like hundreds, maybe 1,000. But yeah, it was. And then I got. It was definitely the Tall Trees things that got me into the housey stuff. But it's all house classics though.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So, like, sort of 2005, 2006 moving forward now, what's going on in the world of, like, Gary Kear? Like, are you still firing demos to people, or are you just happy with where you're going, or what?
Constantly making CDs and tapes. I think he'll maybe been, I mean, probably still making tapes, that's what I mean. I was always behind, but yeah, mixing day in, day out, just like not even getting jobs and stuff because I just wanted to chase the dream and this, and I was just like, just constantly on the decks all the time. But I didn't even have internet back then either, like, because like the family I was in, I had no money, but yeah, just constantly making CDs, making tapes, giving them out to people, but people were offering to buy them, so I was kind of like selling them, but I felt bad in a way selling them, but some people insisted and stuff. But yeah, and then 2006 was probably, I think, the last year before I started doing my own events. I'm sure I put my own event on in 2007.
Right. So what brought that on? Was there a thought process behind it? Or?
Retro Tall Trees again, me and a friend, we went and we like, should we do our own event? And then we put on a House Classics event called Formula. It was upstairs in Walkport in 2007, which was really good, and it just kind of stemmed from there. But like my mind changes a lot, like I just can't stick to one genre, like it's just... One week I could be into hardcore, next week I could be into classic hard house.
Yeah, I know the feeling, mate.
I just can't, it changes all the time. But yeah.
I remember I was having a conversation a while back online, and it was, I think you messaged me for some bounce bits because you were starting to get add the buzz back for it. And we were talking about it, and we were talking about producing and that, and it's something you've never sort of got into.
Yeah.
I know you were saying like there's time restrictions and that.
Yeah.
But did you never feel the need to at this point in your career, sort of that mid-2000s? Were you not interested at all, or?
I didn't think you needed to. Like I wasn't. I had no knowledge. I just like. There was just nothing there. Like,
there is some people who are DJs,
yeah,
and that's it. Or some people are just producers, but
because I just kind of wanted to DJ all the time, and like I think within that scene as well. Like Italian, obviously that wasn't getting made and stuff, and I was kind of couldn't stem into the new music. It was always classics. I think if I was like, say, into house or trance now and keeping up with all the latest things,
might have twisted your arm a bit.
Yeah. There's some, I don't know what it is, but I wish I had done. I mean, there's still time to, but
absolutely,
it's probably harder now than ever, though, isn't it? But like, I don't even know what to produce, to be honest, because I like that many. I just don't know what to produce.
That's what I struggle with now. I can open up a project and I'm just like, right, I want to do this today. Yeah. And I could start maybe like, say, a house track, and I'm sort of grooving away with that. And then I'll, right, I'm going to bed, or I've got to go and sort my little lad out or whatever. And then I'll come back to it a couple of days later. It's like, oh, well, I want to make a bounce track now. And then it's so frustrating.
I think that's what would happen with me.
What I was going to ask you, see during these times, during you sort of coming of age as like 18 forward, is there any memorable nights that stick out in your head when working to a Carlisle or anything like that?
What ones I've attended or DJ'd?
Is there something is there any memories that you just like, you look back on fondly, or funny stories, or just wild things in general? Is there anything that sort of sticks out in your head that like, this is why I do this sort of thing? Or?
Yeah, probably. Hang on, let me think. It was the second or third Fusion when it was a Dance Factory one. That was incredible. Like that was really good. But
was it just the right time and place, or was it the amount of people?
The atmosphere, the amount of people. Yeah, because obviously I was getting like early sets, so like it was just my mates in the room and stuff. So which I loved, absolutely buzzed off it. But then I was getting some later sets and stuff, and then. You know, it was more people there, and like the buzz was there, and it was just amazing.
Good exposure for you, yeah. So when you were playing, you were playing to a crowd who necessarily weren't biased towards you. So, because I found this when I first started out, and like, as you'll know yourself, when you first start out, you've got all your mates who'll come with you, but then as you get later on in life, you get less and less mates who come with you because they're doing their own thing, or they might come out for the odd occasion, or just for bank holidays or whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, I found when I first started out, I was going to clubs playing, and then mates were like, I could have played anything, and then they'd be like, fucking smashing it, mate. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm just like, yeah. But then you soon learn that you need to read a crowd when you've got people who don't necessarily know who you are.
Yeah.
And, oh, that's not working, I'll try this, or this is working, we'll keep to this sort of thing. Did you feel like you'd grown as a DJ when you started getting the later sets? Like,
yeah, definitely. Yeah, because I didn't really like. I mean, when I was younger, I'd get put on early sets and I was bashing out the big tunes, and I didn't really. That's another thing. I didn't look into how to be a DJ. I just learned how to mix, and there was some sets I've played, and I was bashing out big tunes. Then you kind of know. I don't know. You just begin to know, and you learn that you can't do that. You know.
Everyone learns on the fly though, mate. There's
Same with levels and stuff
rule.
like that. Like. Yeah. I don't know if I redlined any levels when I was younger, but yeah, stuff with levels and stuff, and you don't redline it and all that carry on. Yeah.
Do you feel that this era sort of like shaped you for what you were like? I know if I listen back to your earlier sets, as I say, when I was coming through, I was flicking through for a few bits. You were saying you were bashing out the anthems, sort of early doors and stuff like that. I was into a couple of your earlier sets from I think there was Destiny. Let me see, who was the MCs? It was Avi, Joker, and another one. So I had that on the way in, and then I was like...
There's some bad mixes on that and all.
I don't think there
was a monitor on.
I was just flicking through, to be honest with you, mate, and then just to see sort of what tunes you were playing in what years, just to sort of jog my memory. And
mainly
as
Italian,
I
think, with Rescue at the end, I think.
But loads of big anthems were being played, and I'm like, I think you are quite known for the anthems.
Yeah,
so, like,
definitely. I mean, I don't want to be pigeonholed with that, but it's the tunes I like. But yeah,
but I noticed that with your other styles as well when you were playing, say, because there was a couple of you had a couple of like retro things there, a couple of the house ones and the trance ones, and they were all like trance anthems, blah blah blah.
Yeah,
it's a good. I think that's having that known for that style. I think you've definitely, that's how you've got to become the go-to guy for Carlisle. Like, very reliant and trustworthy. Like, do you know what I mean? With anyone who listens to your music, they'll know straight off the bat that, like, right, well, I know I can trust him playing, whether you're on first or you're on last or anywhere. Do you know what I mean? So sort of moving forward, sort of 2007, 8, 9, you've run in your first event. You sort of getting these regular bookings. What else was happening? Like, sort of behind the scenes and that. Were you going to afar? You said you went to Tall Trees, which is in Yarm. Were you going
2007. What was I doing around there? I don't know if I went to many events back then, but I think I was just kind of putting on my own.
Right.
Putting on my own nights around about 2007.
Well, it was mentioned on previous podcasts. Let me see who was on. I think Ben Rusham. Ben Rusham mentioned it. Did you done the deviation competition?
Yeah, in fact, when was that? I don't know if that was 2009 or 2007.
Right.
I think it was...
He did give me the date, but off the top of my head, I can't remember, mate.
Because I entered the first one, and I came second. But I don't know how true it is, but people were saying, oh, Kristen's already won it, and he won it. And I came into I don't know if I'd done the second one, I'd done the third one, and me and Burgos won it.
Right.
And I think that was around about 2008, 2009.
Right.
But I think between 2007 2009, to be honest, I was still going to a lot of sanctuary events and retro Tall Trees, but between 07 and 09, I was really into retro, yeah.
Right, so what sort of stuff were you playing? So where was the competition at? Was it Blackpool?
The first one, I can't remember if I'd done two before the third. The first one was at Syndicate.
Right.
And
what did you reckon of Syndicate?
Oh, unreal, yeah.
I've seen like the main room DJ box and that, but even the second room was quite a large room as well, wasn't it? So
because I think there was like 3 rooms, wasn't there? But we were in like the small top one. That's what the competition was.
Right.
But the competition I played at to win was at Halo. Was it called Halo Synergy in Warrington?
Yeah. So that was another super club as well. Yeah. So when you do you play the competition there? Is that where you got?
Yeah, I played the competition there, and we won to play in the Syndicate main room. And I think that's the only ever time I played in there.
How was that for you?
Good. Yeah.
What you imagined? Were you nervous or? Cause
wasn't nervous at all. No, it was good. Really good.
It's a big step up from doing, say, like I know Fusion was a big club, but like this was like a mega sized venue, and obviously it was revolving dance floor and stuff like that there as well, isn't there? And it's more like you call it like warehouse-esque. Do you know what I mean? It was very that size. So huge. How did you find that? Like you were saying before, like you'd I've heard through talking to people in the past and that that DJ box, the sound system in there was like what some club sound systems would have. So how did you find mixing and that in there?
It was alright, to be honest with you, but I don't even, to be honest, then and all, I still don't think I'd see DJs. But there was that many going on. It was like you're in like some like space shuttle thing. It was like what? So that kind of like, it was getting us a bit like worried in a way. But once I got on, like after the first 2 tunes, I was buzzing. Like there was nothing. I was just loving it. But I wanted more and more after that. But
when you went down on that time with the winners, did you go down with a lot of Carlisle lads? Was there a lot of Carlisle lads there?
I think I did sort of bus. Or did I get a car? We're going on a car. I think a few Carlisle did come. I'm sure they did.
Yeah.
I'm sure I sorted the bus. I would have done. I always sorted buses. Like I always sort 50, 70 seater buses and stuff.
One thing I find though with I think we're both similar in this regard. With Cumbrians, they're big on following. Like when you go down to Sanctuary, you can guarantee there's a big proportion of in Blackpool. There's always a big proportion of sort of Cumbrians, Carlisle, Workington, Whitehaven type thing. And it's always had a strong following from up this end.
Yeah.
So we've been kind of lucky like that. So like as I say, when I was getting more established, more of my mates were like, actually, I've got this on this weekend. I'm doing this weekend. I can't come. But I was always guaranteed to have like the locals from that I knew from the clubs going down. So it looked sort of all right on me, sort of thing. But yeah, sort of moving forward, sort of 2010. Did you find it hard in the recession or out like that? Like.
Yeah, I think I was putting events on. That was like, no ticket dues, just kind of pay on the door and you just hope for the best that people would turn up. But it was hard times back then. What
was it like sort of promoting at that time? Obviously, it was maybe the start of like MySpace and Facebook and stuff, but like were you going everywhere, flyering, chip shops and everything? And
posters, flyers, everything.
And just
I'd do like block text, like I'd do a text thing and then send it to everyone and stuff, like just totally pestering people. But it was hard times, like, and then we weren't getting good numbers because I was probably because due to the recession and stuff.
Yeah.
But I was always beating myself up about it. But I've never really had the money. But I've always stood by wanting to book locals anywhere.
Yeah.
Because I know what it's like myself. Mm-hmm. So unless you don't produce or whatever, or if you're not DJing for a brand, it's hard.
Yeah.
But there's so many good DJs in Cumbria, and I've always stood by that.
Do you find that it's harder? Like I want to know about your journey itself. I think I've seen in the past you've maybe wrote stuff online and that like about wanting to go that one step further and sort of branch out and do, I don't know, maybe you want to do trance and house and stuff like that and give it a proper go as a DJ. Do you find it hard as a Cumbrian? Like
the amount of people that have said to me, "Oh, you're wasted in Carlisle. Go to Manchester," but I can't just pack up and go. But,
absolutely not.
I mean, maybe I could have before kids and stuff, but
yeah.
I've always just messed about with jobs and stuff, so I've never even had the money there. But it's I think Carlisle, Cumbria, it's the hardest place. Like
I've found that even now, I remember this was recent. This is a sort of behind the curtain thing. If you're watching, you can sort of thing here. I got a message saying, I'm not going to name who because it'd be shit on the promoter, but got a message saying, listen, if you lived closer, I'd have you on every event.
Yeah.
But it's simply because he says I can find somebody who would sell more tickets that might not necessarily make music or they might be on the same level you as a DJ. He says I can just take one out and replace one. He says there's hundreds of DJs wanting a shot locally who I know can get successful ticket sales. So I understand as a promoter not to take the risk on me, but I just thought it was a bit like, why do I bother? Do you know what I mean? Like that I've found as this is another thing, like as I say, behind the curtain type thing. Mentality is a very hard thing to maintain as a within the music. Well, I think it's any entertainment because I've got friends who are in bands. I've got friends who are producers for TV and video and stuff.
Yeah.
And they've went away to uni and I think and they're chasing the dream. They've finished uni, but they haven't sort of networked themselves into a thing. And they've came back to Cumbria and they're struggling themselves to it's one of them things as a Cumbrian. I think if you do really want to make it big, you need to go and chase that.
Yeah, definitely.
Whereas if you do what we do and just stay local and do whatever, you just got to make the most out of it. But sometimes it affects, personally, I don't know about you, but it affects my mentality sometimes. It's like, why are they getting on a gig and I'm not? And then you realise that they live 3 mile away from the club, and it's like, and this isn't just sort of, this is everywhere. This could be like, say, Manchester, Glasgow, or anything, or even in the northeast and places like that.
Yeah.
But then I'm always the first person people come to when events are in Cumbria, like yourself. So it's like, you can see why they do it. It makes sense, but the level of frustration it is as an artist, I find that. Do you find that yourself?
Yeah, very. It's a hard game, dog eat dog world.
It is
so sneaky and all. There's people always going behind you, were like wanting to like say they'll all DJ for free, like things like that, and like it's just so annoying. Or like the ticket situation when that came into like, I'd rather book him. You can sell more tickets and stuff, and then like that. I don't want to sound horrible or big-headed, but like you're better than them and stuff, and like it's so frustrating. But because these can sell tickets and that, and
there's you don't. I'm not, by the way. I don't think that you think you're being big-headed or anything, because you're not. And like there's subjective takes and everything where it's like, oh, so and so is better than so and so, but at the end of the day, you know what you're capable of, and then you exactly. I feel this with a lot of people. There's a lot of people who don't get what they deserve, whether they live in the location or anything like that. Don't want to get obviously too deep into it, but I find that location plays a big part as well.
Yeah.
And like mates with promoters, like you see people who just approach promoters because the one on the gig, they're not necessarily going to be pals with them or anything like that.
They're being too nice to them, and you can hit shows and all, especially on social media.
I found that I'm in the middle of organising an event at the minute, which I'll be advertising. I'll use the podcast as an avenue to advertise it, but like as soon as I said about I'm putting an event on, the amount of people who used to be my mates when I run events jumped in my inbox like, "Oh, pal, I'd be good to see you. It's been a while." Yeah, it has been a while, hasn't it?
Leeches, like.
But yeah, as I said, there's people like yourself who go and take the risk of throwing your own money at it and putting on an event, and all of a sudden all these people come out the cracks, and it's like, are they looking for a payday, a bit of notoriety? I don't know. Anyways, we'll move back onto some positive stuff because I've just ranted for about 5 minutes. So sort of 2010, 2011, I can remember keeping an eye on, like I always keep tabs on everyone. It sounds a bit weird, but I just like to see what everyone's up to.
It's interesting in it. We're all interested in it.
So I remember like 2010, 2011, seeing you were doing a lot of house stuff then.
Yeah.
I can't remember if you're doing. Oh, I think you were doing maybe the odd sanctuary and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think I've always done sanctuaries, to be honest, but just because we're just playing the classics, it kind of like, it didn't happen as much because obviously they want to get with the new bounce, so I was playing the classics, so it was kind of just when it was booked in Carlisle or there's a room too with Italian or classic stuff like that. But I was playing a lot of house, just because my taste, it varies all the time. But I think round about then I was really loving house music.
Can I ask you something? Do you know when you've approached venues or people in general?
Yeah.
Do you find that clubs are more accepting to your house events? So like, let's just say you said I want to put on an Italian event, because I've found that a lot of other, like, some venues are more welcoming to more house stuff
than anything with bounce MCs and stuff like that. Yeah.
Did you find that it was easier to get a good venue for a house event?
Definitely, yeah.
So where were you running your house events at this point? Like sort of 2010, 2011?
Say that again, sorry?
Where were you running your house events at?
Where I was running the house events at? Terminal. But that to be honest, Terminal was about 2009, 2010. Right. And where else was I? The Melting Pot, when that opened.
Yeah.
That was open about 2011. To be honest, I was like kind of throwing them anywhere, which was a bad thing because like
your following can be confused or something like that.
Yeah, and just because I just love it that much. I just want to DJ, I want to put events on and give people a good night and stuff. So I was like, I'd literally put events on anywhere, like bars and venues and stuff. What are like you know, that no one's going in on a weekend, or they've got bad reputations and stuff. But I would do it because I was just too easily swayed and too easily like I just
eager.
Wanted to,
It's just
yeah,
eagerness,
just very
isn't it?
just wanted to do it. But then because these clubs and bars got reputations for either trouble or just being empty, I'm putting on these events and they're still like being empty.
Right.
And it's because they won't touch it because of that event. I mean,
Yeah.
not the event, sorry, because of the club, the
Reputation.
bar. They just won't touch it. But I'm blaming myself.
Yeah.
And really, I shouldn't even have touched them venues.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of venues come and go within Cumbria as well. You'll see something flag up for like 6 months and then it drops down, and you're like, you know why it is, because it hasn't got the greatest reputation.
But Carlisle's bad and all. Like there'll be a venue, it'll be all right, and then it'll close down, it'll reopen. But all it does is it just gets a lick of paint. The amount of venues I've been in Carlisle, they've got no sound system and no decks, and it's like, what's going on here?
Yeah, no one wants to
And
put
that's
in
more overheads for us, and it's just so annoying.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very
and
annoying.
then they still expect a big venue deposit as well.
And
Like,
they want you to pay for the bouncers, they want to pay a higher fee for the thing. I'm like, hang on, you haven't got a PA system. Come on, man. Like,
ridiculous.
it is like, and Carlisle's still like that now. Unreal.
Still, so moving forward, you were sort of getting 2012 sort of onwards. What direction were you going in? What was your main focus?
Ooh. My memory's bad. 2012. I think it would have still been more retro, more house, still retro, but more maybe retro. I'm trying to think what events I'd done myself back then, but I think 2012 I was still doing stuff at the Melting Pot. I don't know if it was open then or not.
What sort of artists were you booking for your event? Like guest headliners?
House,
or?
it was just locals because, as I say, I've never been a person with money, but
Yeah. House
and
headliners
plus house
are
headliners
expensive.
for like 8-10 grand, you know what I mean? And then
yeah.
you've got the Uber events hanging floating about as well, and they're getting superstars, and you're like putting this on this little small time thing, but it was just always just local lads.
Yeah.
Yeah, but good DJs though, like really good DJs.
You've just never been given that opportunity. So when did the Uber thing come about? Because you've played for Uber.
Uber had done been about for ages. I can't remember when they first started, but they started in Concrete when and they booked like Calvin Harris before he was huge.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. But I think 2011, I think Uber really like blew up because of the Radio 1 big weekend. They done the after parties at the venue, which was called the Wall back then.
Yeah.
And then they started having the courtyard dues and stuff, and I was just like helping them sell tickets and stuff. But they started putting us on in the back room, which was half decent. But
Yeah, it's good to elevate your name a bit more as well. Like it's a good brand to be connected to. So
yeah, definitely.
And then we're sort of moving forward to 2013, 2014. At this point, if my memory's right, you got a classics booking for the Caff in Wigan. Is that right?
Yeah,
That's where because I seen you come like on the flyer, and I was like, oh, he's sort of coming back to the bounce sort of stuff again.
Yeah.
And then you got booked for. Did you get booked for the Classics night as well? If I'm not mistaken. It was. I think it was called the Classics.
Possibly.
Right.
I'm just gonna try and jog my memory by getting the posters up on my phone because it'll help us with memory. But yeah, 2014. Trying to think. I can't think of the events I was doing back then. I wish I'd done a bit of thing here. But
No, it's all right.
I can remember. I've done the Calf, that's pure now, isn't it?
Yeah, that's pure. Yeah.
Aye.
So when you came back, were you just what were you playing, like trance classics, or what was the?
Yeah. Well, just a mix. Like sometimes I could grow from like I could start at 128 BPM and then finish off at like 148.
Yeah.
But I think it was more. Yeah, I think it was kind of like trance dance classics, kind of like the old Sanctuary at the Cricket stuff.
Right.
I think that's what it was, yeah.
And then moving into that, like, did you get your taste back for the sort of focused on any sort of faster BPMs stuff, like Italian and stuff like that again?
Yeah, well, it was always there, to be honest. But yeah, it was always there. I think with the house, I did like it, but I think I've always been a faster BPM man, definitely. Especially if I'm off my head in a club like that.
I think I met you, or did I meet you? I was meant to meet you because at this point, I think in about 2013 or 2014-ish, I started getting bookings through here, and I think we were on a couple of the same lineups, but I don't think we ever crossed paths throughout. I was getting bookings off. I got a couple of bookings off Chris Dynamite.
Yeah.
He was running some stuff. There was the Attic. Is that right?
Yeah.
The Attic in Carlisle.
Well, that's how I used to run the Formula nights. It used to be called Spirit Bar. Maybe
Right.
2007, 2008.
That was when I first went in there. I was like, this place has got potential. Like,
Yeah.
it
Well, when
really-
we done it before, it was called Attic. It was mint. Like
yeah,
in the top room, like the little the attic part.
Yeah.
Small but good.
yeah. Like I can imagine a nice intimate atmosphere. I was playing. Just tell me if I'm wrong, because as I say, so many places changed the names.
Yeah.
Was there a place, the Vibe? I played the.
Yeah, I played in there and all. It was actually an Indian restaurant or something, wasn't it? But there was like a function room type thing.
Yeah.
Funny enough, I've done a lot of events in there because that's one place that's changed its name loads.
I played in there a couple of times.
Opposite Walkabout and Botchagate.
Yeah.
Yeah, aye.
I played it there about 4 or 5 times, but I think every single time I went in, it was a different name.
Yeah.
But the last time I played in there was known as the Vibe, and that was for an MC. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. He was running an event there. It wasn't like anything special or out like that, but I can't remember who it was. And then I think I got booked for Sanctuary's 13th birthday or 14th, but I don't know which it was. I've been playing in Carlisle a couple of times for Sanctuary at this point, but you were booked to play for the Nick Skids night. Can you remember that?
Aye.
That was in.
I didn't make that night either. I can't remember what it was. I think I was badly or something. Or
Oh yeah. What was that venue called in there at the time? Can you remember?
see that changed its name a lot and all. Actually, I'm on this now. So all these flyers and stuff.
Yeah.
It was Terminal, but what did they change? I wish I'd looked at these flyers at the start because I could have gave you more stories. To be honest with you. Where is that?
Is it? Oh, what was it called? Was it Botanica? Is that
But it was called Botanica, but I'm not sure if it was Botanica when it was Nick Skits, but I could be wrong because it's had a few names, to be honest with you. It might have been Botanica, to be honest with you.
I think it was a blue flyer, if that helps.
Yeah.
But as I say, I think you were meant to be on after me. So in a way, it's a blessing in disguise for me because I got to play like 2 hours. So yeah. So it's like, Gary's not here. I think he's badly or something. So he's like, "Do you want to just jump on for another hour?" I was like, I don't see why not. And I think after that, 2000, I can't remember what year it was, but I'm sure afterwards, I sort of never got booked for Carlisle for a while. I think it was a bit of a I think a lot of venues closed and whatnot, and then
I think it was quite a hard time around there, to be fair.
And then, well, I think a lot of it was like day sessions and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, Carlisle's big for the day session now. Do you know Simon Kennedy?
Yeah, I know Si, aye.
I had Si on the podcast a couple episodes ago, and he was saying about he does what was the venue called that he does? He does daytime events in there now. And he says,
Havana.
bouncing. Havana, yeah. He says it's absolutely bouncing. For
Yeah,
the
they
day.
are,
It's
aye.
like
They do them.
daytime,
It's I think and all because a lot of people from out west come for like
right?
the day session, get like the last train back.
Yeah.
So it works.
It works big time. And this is another thing. I don't know, like why it is, but I think for our type of music where it's a bit faster paced and that, a lot of people like out west come here and they go to the Cumberland for a day session. It's like booming, like or it was at the time.
Yeah.
Because I remember we were in the Cumberland before that Sanctuary thing, and it was absolutely bouncing.
Yeah.
And I was just like, it's like 5 o'clock in the afternoon, daylight. And I was like,
It never used to be like that. It was always like soul and Motown and stuff, and then they got Jordan Russell in, and he was just banging out the bounce, and that was really to capture all the West Cumbrians for the day,
Yeah.
and like the South West Scotland lot, and then because they were coming for the day, they kind of maybe just thought they'll want that. It reminded me a bit of Royal Oak in Workington. That actually, we used to go there before Fusion. We used to love that place, all bouncing.
well, when Fusion closed and then Elliot's closed and stuff like that, a lot of the promoters were running events from the Royal Oak. So you'd see, like Top Gun was in there. I'm trying to think of what else there was. Well, obviously Marco's Dreamland. He used to run his Hard House events, and then you'd get like say like a Ben Stevens, Callie Gage, and that coming and playing in the Royal Oak, and it's like it's insane when you think about it for what it is. But yeah, it's just that's another Cumbrian mentality as well, like party anywhere. So
I honestly don't believe in all. No one can party better than Cumbrians. Like
I've said this, it's like I've been in a few sticky situations where it's like that's the best I can describe it, but like in which I've went to events and if there's something mad happened, it's always Cumbrians that have instigated it.
Well, we were one memory that sticks out for me. Fusion Workington, it was rammed, like absolutely rammed. And did you ever go in Fusion?
Yeah.
You know when you come down, you've got like you come to the balcony and you're looking over the thing, and then you've got the steps that come round.
Yeah.
Well, there was a lad on the top of the balcony, and he just got like kind of on the top, like balancing. All of a sudden, he just like done a Superman dive, and his mates all try to catch him, and he just bang.
Do you know something? That's been told on the podcast before.
That was crazy. Like I don't know what happened to him. I don't know if he got hospitalised or what. But yeah, that was
stupid
a
thing to do. Like,
moment,
but it's what you do when you're not feeling
yeah.
You were talking about the Royal Oak and that. There, I remember going to. I think it was either a Dreamland event or Top Gun. It could have been Top Gun. I remember me and my mate. Because none of my mates like dance music. They're like my main core friends.
Yeah.
And they're like, I was like, come and try this. It's not like your usual boom 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 stuff. I said, there's bits of like old school Italian and stuff and that. You'll love it. Right, so I convinced them. Obviously, I went in and they were playing like at the time they were playing like dinky stuff, and I was like, oh no, I don't know if I like this. But I remember coming outside, and there was loads of gypsies in, right? And there was a horse tied up outside by the lamppost. That was mental. Yeah, I was like, why does it fuck? He's because Royal Oak's in the middle of the town centre, isn't it? And why is there a horse tied up outside of the town centre? It's fucking mad, like.
A raj, man.
But that's to say, that's Cumbrians as well. Like it's insane.
Yep.
So we'll move forward now in your story. 2016, 17, 18. What were you doing? Well, we'll say from 2016 to 2019. And then before we get into like the pandemic stuff.
Come up with some players first, just to jog my memories. My memory even, sorry. 2016, 17, Jesus. It's bad when they don't have the flangers on. I think I was mainly 16, 17. Oh my god. I think we brought Formula back, which was the House Classics event that we started. Upstairs and Walkabout back in 2007. Plus I was doing things like for the Realm. Looks like here the Realm, which is an old school night in Carlisle. I'd done the retro boat party at Amsterdam. That was a bit mental.
Where was that, at Amsterdam?
Yeah, just DJing on the boat. I DJ'd on the way back, and it was a disaster really because everyone went flat out partying on the way there. It was in like November.
Right.
And so like everyone was hungover and stuff, so it wasn't as busy the second day, but like the boat was proper bad, and I was like,
is that the one from the northeast?
Yeah.
I've done that before.
They do various ones. I think like Good Grief have done it and stuff, but this was like retro, and they were doing it something with it was maybe something like Habit with like that cocaine and Tom's and Eddie and stuff.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, there wasn't many people on the boat dancing on the second night because obviously they went flat out on the first night. Mm-hmm. And like I was feeling a bit dodgy and stuff, and I was like to one of the DJs, "You're gonna have to take over me." And I feel a bit queasy. You're like, "Oh, it was dodgy." Yeah. But
it's always good to get like something a bit different to clubs as well, isn't it? Like I found that like I did that that Amsterdam thing, and it is just one massive party boat. Because if I'm not mistaken, I could misremembering it because I've done a couple of like boat journeys like that. Is that the one with they've got the casino and they've got like a nightclub area and they've got a food area and a cinema and shit like that? I remember there was like people running up and down the things off their head down the corridors because you've got little like rooms, didn't you?
And the walkways are like that, really tight.
That's a mad boat, that, man.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it was mental, like it was. And we went into Amsterdam looking about. Obviously got a bit stoned and stuff, and just having a look about, and then we got back in, and I got searched. Obviously, lucky I never got no honours, but yeah.
Yeah. So what is it like? You're there for a day? Is that right?
Yeah, you set off. I can't remember what time it was. We set off. We nearly actually never got there in time to catch the boat. I think it's like something like a 10 till, maybe like a 9 till 3 a.m. thing.
Right.
Like that's like just kind of the same as nightclub times. And you get to Amsterdam, that was the only bad thing. You only get about 5-6 hours in Amsterdam.
Right. I think that rings a bell actually. Oh, what do you reckon of Amsterdam?
Mint, yeah. I do want to go back. I need to go back. Sorry. Yeah, it's mint. Absolutely.
Well, I've got a little mad story. Like, I was telling my mate the other day. That's when you mentioned Amsterdam. I was like, oh yeah, I need to say this. But when I went to Amsterdam for the first time in 2014, it was the 20th of December. I'm not usually good with dates, but I remember this because of what it was like. It was just insane. So I booked it for my missus, like we're gonna go Christmas markets and that. And we got there, and like obviously you hear what it's like. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
When you go there, and you can go to like the sex shows, and there's a red light district. And I went into one of the booths. Obviously, everyone has been to these. Like them, you put a euro in, and you get to go in the little like booth thing. Me and my missus were in there, and the caught my missus being dead nervous. Like she was like, because obviously you just go for the experience and that. And this lasso, like there was loads of like pervs all around them in the booths, but like because you could see like in each booth and that, and then in the booth here, and she cottoned onto her and she focused on embarrassing her back like it was mental. But the story I was going to tell you was, and as I say, we threw the bags in the hotel room and just straight out. First, the first cafe we come to, we're like, right, we'll go in here. Proper stoned. Let's go for this. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not a regular weed smoker at home. I get like obviously drug testing that would work.
You've got to really with Amsterdam, don't you?
Yeah. So I thought, right, I'll do it. And then I thought, right, let's do this. So we went into this cafe. We got these chocolate fudge brownies, hot chocolate. Obviously like with weed and that on in it. And we got 4 pre-rolled spliffs. Right. So we were there. And smoked 2 each, and then had the brownies and chocolate. I was like, I can't feel anything here. Like
This soon creeps up on you.
I know, but we were just there, and we were like, it was just a weird, like a really calm atmosphere. But like, I didn't feel stoned at all.
Yeah.
And she's going, "Is this what being stoned feels like?" 'Cause I can't feel anything. And then this was her first time smoking it as well. So I said, right, we'll go and get some more. So I went up to it and just got like some bud, and then I thought I'll roll it myself just in case the pre-rolls are a bit rubbish. So I says, what would you recommend? And this woman was behind the thing. She's like, do you smoke weed often? I was like, no, not at all. She says, I recommend this roll where it's like it's like a medium strength thing. Try this. So I was like, yeah, got this. Bought the Rizzlers and that. Went and rolled it up, smoked it, and that. Me and my missus were like, this is doing nothing for us, like at all. So I just went all in, thinking I was a big hard lad. And then when I went off the top shelf, I was like, she's going, you said you don't smoke weed often. I was like, yeah, but I just fancy it. And she was like, I wouldn't recommend it if you've never done it. And I was like, she says, but I'm not going to say no. So got this, and I think we'd rolled about 4 joints. So it was like 2 each. At this point, we'd had about 9 joints each as well. And there was just nothing. It just felt like, it was just like a calm atmosphere. There was nothing to it whatsoever. And we smoked them, but like you could tell it was stronger. Yeah. But like there was just I wasn't getting the tingly buzz. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So I was there. And next to us, there was this Chinese fella with like, looked like Mr. Miyagi. He had like these beads that this moustache he kept playing with, and a bit of a goatee, long hair and that. And he was sitting playing chess with himself. And me and my missus just got like fixated on it, like massively. And we sat and watched him, and he was just playing with himself. It was like quite fascinating. I don't know about chess, by the way. I don't either. But like, it was just interesting that he was sitting there battling himself. And like we're there and like just sitting watching him and just having a drink every now and then, and like really hyper focused on it. And then I turned to her and I says, oh, we'll just go and get some meat. I'm feeling quite hungry and that. Like I says, this isn't really doing anything for us. So just things. And she like looked at her watch. She goes, you're never gonna believe it. I says, what? She goes, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. I was like, fuck off.
So you're probably worse on that, yeah? You just
realise it. Yeah, I know, exactly. But I couldn't feel anything.
Yeah.
Right. So I was like, well, we came in here at 6, and it feels like we've been here about an hour, 2 hours, no more. But it's 3 in the morning, and like you didn't even notice it getting dark because it's quite a dim lit thing, anyways. I was like, we'll just go back and we'll try again tomorrow because I was like I say, I thought, time just flew by because we were sitting watching him.
Yeah.
But obviously, we must have been watching him for about 5 hours, and he's just keep restarting the game and doing it again, and weird experience. And then this God's honest truth. What happened next was we came out, and it was, as I said, 20th of December. It was so a massive gust of wind just hit us as we come out. I can't remember anything after it, like at all. My missus can't, even when we've like talked back about it. There's no recollection of.
Getting back to the hotel and stuff.
Yeah, like luckily we were quite close to the hotel.
Does that with a lot of things though, doesn't it? Like when you're drinking or if you're on drugs, whatever. Like once you get outside in the fresh air, it hits you like.
But this hit me like nothing. I've never in my life I've got into some states with drink and stuff, but never in my life have I blacked out like that. Because this deleted like. Well, I'll tell you where I woke up at, but I woke up the next morning. The last thing I remember was we were in this thing and we were saying bye to the lass who we were buying the bud off, and saying, "Oh, we'll go and get a big feast now. I'm starving." Blah blah blah. So obviously I had the munchies.
Aye.
And I'd woke up the next day. My missus flat out next to me in the hotel room, and I've woke up and there was like fucking crumbs and everything in the bed, and like. But the thing that really fucking I was thinking, I shook her to wake her up. I says, "What the fuck is going on?" There was like yellow powder everywhere, all over the bed and on the floor, and there was like chocolate wrappers and all that all over the floor. And because it was the Christmas markets, we must have went and bought do you know them, like waffle things, like cinnamon waffles. There was loads of them, just bits of them all over the spot, and so we just picked out and must have spent a fortune on food. But this yellow stuff was like quite concerning. I was thinking, what the fuck have we done last night? Because literally I was trying to remember, but in my head there's just like it feels weird.
Yeah.
So walked through into the kitchen area. We tried to make pot noodles in the middle of the night.
You know what I was going to say? Was it curry powder?
Yeah, it was the chicken and mushroom fucking thing. We'd poured it all over the floor in frustration.
The curry powder thing.
And we were that stoned, we didn't know how to boil a kettle. You could see that our attempts at like trying to like boil a kettle, and it was like just I can't think anything like it. Like, and anyways, as the day progressed and we got ready, and it must have been heavy last night. There was a video of that I'd been recording her because she would like climbed up the stairs like it was a mountain, and was sitting by the door, and we were trying to get in the hotel room for the night, and we couldn't get the key in the door, so we're sitting there, and I've recorded her on the phone to the hotel manager, and he's saying, I'll come down and open the door for you, I might have given you the wrong key and all this. Turns out we were putting the key in upside down, like, but fucking that's another thing. But yeah, Amsterdam, what a fucking place.
When I was there, my bird insisted, "Come on, we'll go to the red light district and have a look." It's like, aye. So like, there's these loads of like sleazy looking men, black men in like leather pants, leather jacket, leather gloves. There, obviously, they must have been the pimps, because they're like, I don't know, you could just tell they were like kind of the
presence.
Pimps. Yeah. But then there was this big black woman in the window, like doing this to my bird, like.
Yeah.
Doing all this, like, and she's just laughing. But before this, like, my bird was like, "My home hand will walk up here," and then like they said, "Come on, you two," like, fucking hell, man.
Yeah, it's
but like it's
no holds barred, is it?
Yeah. As much as it's a mint place, it's a little bit dodgy as well. Like some of the stories my mates have told me and that, like, fucking hell. But yeah,
I find it quite safe though. Everyone's very relaxed.
But I think if you cross the line, you know, you step the mark, do something bad, you know, you're in trouble. You're in trouble.
I found it a very, very calming place. Like we were in the red light district and things like having a crack in there, and we were sitting there and we were just like, it's classy, right? And she was like, "This is amazing. Like this, it's just such a like everyone's dead friendly in there." So we were that excited. We booked it for 2 weeks later. We came back on like the 4th of January.
Mint.
Yeah, I didn't take drugs that weekend because I told work that I told lads at work I was going and got drug tested when I came back. So luckily, it wasn't that bad.
Even just for sightseeing and stuff, you know, mint place, absolutely mint.
Went to like done the Anne Frank experience and stuff like that.
Yeah, well that's what she wants to do. I'd like to go back and.
Anyways, back onto the story. We sort of went off on a bit of a tangent, but Amsterdam, mint place.
Aye, definitely.
So like we're going on like 2018, 2019. At this time, I keep tabs on everyone. Am I right in thinking that you've done retro at the Pier? Is that?
Yeah, it's probably one of the best. I don't know if it was the best or one of the best gigs of my life. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember you posted a video up or something like that. That's what sticks out in my mind, anyways. So obviously you're still doing the retro stuff. You're doing the Italian stuff. You've bits and bobs with Sank. You sort of just keeping yourself afloat with being known and making presents and stuff like that. I want to get into the sort of pandemic era as well. So you were saying before you organised your brand new event, the Italian Job, and it was meant to be. When was it meant to be? Sorry,
it was meant to be. I think it was April 2020.
Right.
Yeah.
And that sort of got wrote off, did it? Like,
Yeah. Gutted.
Was there anticipation for it at the time?
Yeah. I think people wanted it because that we done that Italian dance special at the back end of 2019. So they announced it, and it was the interest for it, and that was really good.
Right.
Plus, it was at Brickyard, which is like it's a mint venue.
Right.
And then, but obviously, it was actually my birthday bash. It was like Gary Kear's birthday bash type thing.
Right.
But then it got cancelled, and I thinged it to like July or something. People were saying, "Oh, it won't happen." But I was optimistic, but it didn't happen.
Yeah, obviously. So that during the pandemic, one thing that sticks out is everyone was trying to like stay relevant and maybe just cure the boredom, entertain the following that they've got. I seen you were doing like lockdown mixes.
Yeah.
Is there any reason why you're doing that? Was it just literally to just keep yourself?
We had, I think the end of March 2020, Retro was meant to be on in Carlisle. And me and my pal Danny Atkinson, who we used to run the Formula events with, we were booked to play. But like lockdown kicked in maybe like a week before or something like that. Mm-hmm. But I'd already done live streams before, but without the like iRig things, so you could hear like all the background noise and stuff. Before we'll just do it. Done a little. Danny knocked up some like little artwork poster thing on an app. Put it out there saying we're gonna go live for you, you know.
Yeah.
Because Retro's on, we'll come to you. And like everyone was buzzing, and like I was on, and there was like 400 people watching and stuff. I was like, get on, I'm loving this, and then people were like, oh, can you do it more often? But I really, honestly, I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed that live stream more than some club nights.
Yeah.
It was
interaction.
Yeah, because you can see all the interactions when people, like when a tune drops in, you can see all the love hearts kicking in and like the comments and that. And you just know people are loving it. And then I started doing them like basically weekly, yeah. Then I stopped a bit. I can't remember why. I think maybe because there was so many people doing it, and I was kind of thinking like, well, and the viewers were dropping a bit because like there was loads of like big brands
different
doing
ones,
them
yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
like
yeah.
there was like live stream festival type things like that. That's what we're calling it. And so I just kind of like dropped off a bit. But yeah, I think that really helped us and all with getting some bookings and stuff. It definitely helped us with an audience. Like there was people watching us from Australia, Sheffield, London and stuff. People like who aren't even having mutual friends with us on Facebook and stuff.
Yeah, getting into it.
Yeah.
One thing I want to ask you is, I haven't actually asked anyone this on the podcast, but did you find it strange or weird at all that you've went from 2004 regular bookings in clubs and everything to zero? Like you won't have played out, like you'd have at least played out in a club a couple of times a month through that full 15 to...
Well, 2000, we're around about 2007, 2009, after I'd had a few bookings for Sanctuary and that, and Dance Factory and stuff, I was getting like double bookings. Me and Ollie Steele would get booked together. And like we'd go and play at DNA, then go back to Fusion, play at there, go and play at Rawtenstall, can't think if that's the right name and stuff, like things like there, then come back to Carlisle, like double bookings. Never had that before, it was always in bounce, but there was a case though when we weren't really getting much, and I was trying to get like, you know, like just work as like in a bar or in a club, not for a...
like a little residence.
Yeah, I was trying to get that, but it was always with the crap ones, and then I think that was kind of when the recession was back then. When was the recession again?
2008.
Yeah.
2007, 2008.
Yeah. Back then it was what the gigs dried up a bit then as well, but yeah, it was because that year, the 2020, it probably would have. It was looking like it was going to be the best year for me, gig wise.
Same for
even
me
life
as well.
wise, like stuff like
big
holidays
plans,
booked, like we had Rome booked and everything. But yeah, gig wise, it was looking unreal, and then it just all came crashing down, and it was shit.
As a DJ, like as you say, regularly booked and that, did you find it hard, or did you feel like, because for me, I think I went a bit mad. Like this is just my personal experience, yours might be different. Where I was like, I've went out from playing clubs a couple of times a month, and it's like now nothing, and it's like, are you going to get forgot about? Or I had a lot of spare time to produce music, because that was the big plus to it. I got so much music done, but there was just a big void in. I can't test music out.
I think if I'd never had kids, I truly believe it would have affected us more.
Yeah,
I think it would have affected us more, and plus the live streams. If I didn't do the live streams, I think it would have affected us more in terms like. But that helped me kind of like get myself out there more and keep us kind of like current, you could say, in a way.
Well, you're getting some gratification as well of like, oh, I'm maybe not playing in a club, but I'm getting these people who's enjoying it from their houses and stuff, which is fantastic. Because I know I did a couple of live streams myself, and when you play in a club, you might get like someone come to you, or 2 or 3 people come to you after a set and go, really enjoyed that. But when I distinctively remember, I did a couple of things for Sanctuary, I did a couple of things for a few different bounce like live streamers, so to say, and I remember just the messages were like would help me quite a lot. Does that make sense? Like, because they were like, this is class, didn't know who you were before lockdown, I'll be keeping an eye out for your stuff, and that's just like, at least I'm progressing in some sort of way.
It's good being told, isn't it? Like, it's going to sound a bit thing. I love people saying, "Oh, that was mint, Gary. That was absolutely class." Not to like feed my ego or thing. It's to
show the hard work paying off.
Yeah, it's just nice to show. Because sometimes it'll be good, but no one will come up to you. Like I've been pulled off people in clubs. It's like, oh, I'm glad to meet you, Gary. I've always wanted to come to you and say how good you were. We're like, blah, 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 blah. I saw how much of a set it was good and all that. I said, well, just don't be shy, just come over. Yeah. It's not just to make us... It's not like to feed me ego or anything like that. It's just nice to be, it's nice to know that you're doing good.
It's good to know the people firsthand who's
and they're liking it, they're enjoying it.
Yeah, because there could be like 100 people in the club. Not everyone will like the tunes you're playing, but to that audience that you've got, it's nice to individually see.
Definitely.
I remember playing Sankfest, and a lad came up to me during Sankfest and said, "Listen, I've travelled here just for you today. Like, I seen that you were doing whatever, and I've travelled up." And he drove from like Birmingham or something to Workington of all places. And I'm just like, you don't realise how much that means to you, sort of thing.
It is like, it's just.
Have you ever been fanboyed?
I have got quite a few fans. Yeah, there's one woman, Nicola Porter. She's my number one fan. She's bought us presents. She's got us stuff when it was my 20 years of Gary Kear. She bought my daughter like a Born to DJ little onesie thing, and then I've gained a few fans since the Retro and the Pier. People who I don't know, people I've never met in my life. Now there's a lad called Matt. He's kind of a fan.
You don't realise
it's weird saying that fans, because it's weird, isn't it? Like these fans, I do have fans. Yeah, it's like, it's mad, but it seems weird as well, because I'm just Gary Kear from Carlisle. It's weird.
Absolutely,
it's
mate.
weird, but yeah.
Matt, like this is a weird one as well. But you could go to a club night where, because I'm like so like involved with the bounce scene and stuff like that, you go in and everyone's like, "Oh, hey Brad, how's it going?" Blah blah blah. You probably get like you're selling Carlisle, but then you come out of that club and in the street, nobody knows who you are. It's like it's a real hit to reality. I like it like that, to be fair, because it's like a thing. But one like this is just another story, sort of off subject, but when you like talk about like fanboying and stuff like that, I thought I was going to get hired on one day. Like I was proper annoyed, and like so we went into like Wetherspoons one morning. It was my missus' auntie. She come visiting over from Hong Kong. Yeah, and we were going. We had something booked in. I can't remember what we were doing. It was like I was showing her something and working anyways, and we were just sitting having a breakfast in Wetherspoons, and these two fucking scaffolders were there, like look hard as fuck as well. Like, do you know what I mean? That one of them would have took me definitely. And they're there staring me out, and like she pointed out to me, I didn't see this, and she pointed out to me and she's like, "Do you know them?" And I turned around, I was like, "Nah," but I was like, "Fuck, they're gonna do me." Like just because just the vibe they gave off, and one of them came up to me like carrying the carpets right up, and I was like, "Oh, right, what have I done here?" Like, do you know what I mean? I don't get anyone's wrong side, but you just don't know what people say to you. And I had a pal, and he went, "Can I ask you something, pal? Are you Brad?" I was like, "Yeah." turned to his mate, I fucking told you. And he come over and he's like, we seen you, you were playing in, I think did they say, was it Electric Soup or something? Seen you playing Electric Soup, after Sanctuary, it was class and that, and got her auntie and that to take a photo, and I was like, that was the only time I've ever been fanboyed.
When you said fanboy, I didn't kind of know what you meant, but yeah, I have had that actually. Some young lads, I can't remember where they were, and like you get it, but even in the streets, like, all right, Gary and all that, I'm like, I don't know who you are. And it's like, when you next DJ, and they'll want a photo and stuff. I can't remember what it was, and it was a similar thing to that. It's surreal because, like, you just think if they're talking, they're looking at you, and you think like, because you're not, I know I'm not a celebrity or anything, so you just think like, what are they going to do to me, or are they slagging me off here? What's their problem? And they'll come over like, oh, you got a kid, and like, I'm good for with the boys, like.
I was literally shitting myself because I was thinking they'd take me easy, and it's quite a negative thing. But as you say, like, when by no stretch a celebrity, nothing. But when you don't know that the like, you can check your SoundCloud stats or whatever, and you can see who listened to you. But what I'm getting at is
there's legit fans out there.
And there's people who listen to you every day, and you playing whether you've produced the music or you put the mix together, they listen to you daily, and you get them through their day. One thing with the podcast as well, there's a lot of people who sit and wait for this on a Friday to come out, and it's like you make their day that little bit easier. And do you know something? I did think about jacking this in when the pandemic first hit. And to get somebody to come to you and just say, listen, like, you give me my hours of entertainment. If I listen to your mix on repeat, I listen to these tunes on repeat. And now more so with the podcast, I listen to every episode, every word I'm hanging off and all this. And it's like
that's what it's all about, man.
Yeah, like you could play in front of the biggest crowds in the world, but knowing that you've changed someone's day and make it that much better, it's such a nice gratification, and that's all I need. I'm happy. If I never got any big bookings ever again, I just carried on doing this, knowing that there's somebody listening and that they're just like, this is what it's about. It's definitely. It's heartwarming, and at the end of the day, when you see people like they say about the 90s, and the 90s was the best thing, and we used to take love doves, and we're all together as one, and that it's like, it's a heartwarming feeling knowing that like people are having the same feeling, saying, listen, the people you talk to and stuff like that, I get to feel like I know them on a more personal level. Like today, people have found out stuff about you that you not necessarily know, which I just find it brilliant, because I didn't do that for that reason. I did it to preserve our scene. This podcast came along because I wanted Cumbria as a whole to be remembered as, like, because London and that get remembered, all the big clubs, and Manchester, the Hacienda, places like that, and it's like Cumbria it's always on the back burner for everyone. And for our music scene as well, like, to preserve
so much talent on offer and all, it's unbelievable. Like,
and a lot of people get forgot about, but if they're getting the stories out there, you're preserving it, and the people loving it was just something I didn't realise that I needed. And like, as I said, like, getting your story out, I think it's fantastic that, like, somebody might not know who you are now, and then off the back of this podcast, they're now like, Gary Kear, and then they find all these class mixes online, like, where it's like, oh, I fancy a bit of trance today, I'll listen to a bit of trance. It's like, go and listen to it right now. I know I've sort of waffled on a bit there.
All the money in the world, and all there's no beating, like, when you're DJing and there's the people there buzzing and like smiling and wanting to shake your hand, fist bump you and all that, because you've dropped one of the tunes that they love or something. They're just happy, like, seeing their faces. Like, I'd love DJing like outside of Carlisle, I really do, but DJing in Carlisle, like, my mates, people I know, my hometown, I buzz off it. I absolutely love it. Like,
you're making something that they'll remember forever. Like,
that's what it's all about for me. Like,
definitely. Absolutely. So we're talking about the pandemic and that, we've sort of went off on one. So coming out of the pandemic, were you raring to go? What was it like?
I was raring to go massively.
What was the idea? Were you like, I'm going to put events on, or I'm going to be playing, I'm going to try and get on everywhere, or what was the
I was
idea?
kind of hoping I'd get more bookings than I thought, because I started selling USBs, didn't I? And I was posting them out all over the country, and like, because the live streams, and I was like, right, I'm gonna put on the mix on USBs, and I won them, and like, the interest was unbelievable. And but I have got some good stuff after it. I have, but Yeah, we had obviously the Italian job booked for the 14th of August, something like that it was. Sold something like, I think I sold something like 180 tickets, and then the remaining 60 paid on the door.
Right.
Remaining 70, 60 paid on the door, so it was a lockout in the end.
Yeah.
Which was unbelievable, but the support kind of died down a bit, which was annoying, but it was always expected that one was going to be big because
The first one back.
everyone was raring to go, yeah.
I remember the first went back, and it was like there was you knew there was going to be a special atmosphere, but it was just good to be. Yeah, you've played to people on the internet, but like when you're seeing everyone just happy to see people, that's all right, mate. It's happened before, but it's like when you see people like there, and it's like everyone's just happy to blow some steam out, like that. It was a nice special moment, and I hope we never ever have to do this again. I don't think we ever will. But that was a build up of 2 years of just of everyone coming together again.
Yeah.
So after the pandemic, what have you been up to?
I'd obviously done a couple of Italian jobs. I also done because it was kind of 20 years since I've been DJing. And with all the support following stuff on the live streams, I thought this is probably the perfect moment to do it. Even though it was on a Friday night, Fridays are awful in Carlisle, really really hard. That's probably why the Italian jobs the audience got a little bit smaller. But anyways, yeah, I got given a date in October, I think it was a Friday, and I done a 6 hour set. And it was like just going through all the genres and tunes that I love, and it was mint. I do believe the crowd would have been bigger if it was on a Saturday. I do believe that. It was a good crowd though, really good crowd. It was in the Brickyard, which I wanted it in. Yeah. It's just a shame I couldn't get it on the Saturday, but yeah, I done that.
How was it? Getting to play through the genres? It
was good. To be honest, it wasn't enough time, to be fair, like, because you could like all the tunes in the world. There's not enough time to like do all the ones that I like, but it was good. Yeah, I enjoyed it. There was a lot of tunes that I didn't play that I wanted to, and I was totally kicking myself about it. But yeah, it was good.
As I say, because you play so many genres as well, it's like say an hour of house, an hour of trance, an hour of Italian, an hour of bounce, and like as you say, you've only got an hour to play.
I know, that's what I mean.
And I
could do 6 hours of each genre, man, if I want. It's just the stamina and everything. But we've had a few events and all, like the I don't know if we've had a Rude Dog Productions, which I've not mentioned. My mate, one of my best mates, had decided he wanted to just throw a trance event on, and he called it Rude Dog Productions, which is because it was all just for the laugh. But we've done that. That was the first one was at the Bronx, which was at what you're on about before, the Vibe. Right. And Watchgate. We done one there called it History of Trance. Amazing. And then we started booking like Dave Pearce, Matt Derry, Dave Pearce again. We done like an Italian trance type thing. One had booked Andy Pendle twice. So we've done some of them since like 2017 lately. They're good ones. He's took a bit of a break now because like he's a businessman. But then I've decided to do a brand, and I brought up a brand called Memories, which was basically got all the dance trance stuff like from the late 90s, early 90s.
I've seen
it's something I love because I've done like some CD series, and I've always wanted to do it, but I just didn't know when. And I thought when I'd done one. When did I do the first one? Was it May or something like that? Which was good. And then the one in July. And I've got one coming up in November with John G, Stephen J and Andy Kelly. Andy Kelly's played on all of them.
Yeah, great DJ.
Yeah, mint. And it's just basically tunes that bring back memories. But it's just kind of like dedicated to the like late 90s, early 90s dance trance stuff.
Yeah, but it's spot on lineups for what it is as well.
Yeah. And I've been like a lot of people are always at us because the events I do, or even when Retro's in town, there's a lot of 18-year-olds, which I don't mind. They keep the scene alive, but you get the 40, 50-year-olds that are always twining. Can you not do one for like the older lot? So I've got a new I'd say brand, but I've called it Old Cool. Yeah, it's old school. I was going to do over 30s, but it's going to be over 25s. That's on the 22nd of October. Yeah, that's looking like it's going to be a good one.
Grab your tickets. I'll leave the ticket. Have you got a on Skiddle?
Yeah.
Right. I'll leave the ticket link below.
Well.
I'll leave the ticket links below for it. So if you're in Carlisle, you can come and check it out, see what it's about.
At Black Box Music Institute. Yeah, that's where Sanctuary is, where we've gone. I think you're playing that night, are you, or not?
Is that in 2 weeks? Is it something like that?
Yeah,
I'm on
that's
there,
the same venue as that. That's where Memories is going to be an old school even.
Yeah.
And recently, I've just been announced DJing for Zone, which is like a massive dream, really.
Yeah, I seen that the other day. I can't remember what day it was, but the lineup's pretty solid as well on it. Yeah, great. So everything's starting to. I always thought it was a tester year last year for what coming back. I wasn't that busy, to be honest with you. I had a few gigs. Farrell kept me busy with like an event every month or so.
Yeah.
And then odd bits playing locally in the clubs locally to me. But other than that, there wasn't much on. But this year seems to be right. We're all aware numbers are down across the board.
Yeah.
But we're just gonna do what we can. And as I say, I've got a couple of things to announce in the future, which I'll probably, by the time this comes out next week, a couple of them will be announced. But as I say, the ball's rolling again. I think last year was a test, and then now people's thinking, right, we're not going to get the best numbers through. Let's just bash on and do what we can.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, you were saying about you were a bit disappointed with some of the Italian job turnouts. I think I wouldn't be. I think even the biggest events now are getting lesser numbers.
Yeah.
Like it is genuinely.
I'm yours forever, enemy. I beat myself about it all the time.
Yeah.
But you know.
Got a cost of living crisis on.
Yeah, of course. Plus, like, it's an older crowd. People have got mortgages. People have got kids, work and stuff. You know, they can't go out all the time.
Yeah. What we're going to do now is, as well, we won't have the break. We'll go straight into it. We've got questions from what people have wrote in, because we're actually talking about some of the things that people have wrote in. So we'll just get onto it. All right, mate. How important is success to you in your music career? Do you see it as a hobby? Or do you take it seriously? And that's from Bob.
Bit of both, really. It's always been a hobby. So anything like any success that comes with it, really, that's the bonus. But it's always like. I
think we've already touched on it, haven't we? Because we said about like it's nice to get gratification and you see that you're affecting people. And I think success to me is I'm successful if it touches one person and change like I'm not saying it's life changing by any stretch, but what I'm saying is if you can make someone's day by putting a mix out and they're like, I love this, and do you know what I mean? Like
I had the Retro and the Kear, which was like the trance stage. I was like on the same lineup. I was the only one like the small time DJ. All the rest were like Seb Fontaine, Mauro Picotto, Signum.
The headliners each in their own right, aren't they?
Yeah, so that's that and Retro in the Park, which was on the summer. I was alongside like Kear, Clash, John Kelly.
Yeah, there
was a few big names.
Where was that? Sorry,
in Burnley, some park in Burnley.
Right.
There was like the main stage, which was Hacienda and all that, Dave Morales and stuff.
Yeah.
And I was only like one of the smaller time DJs on there. Like I've got to give like massive respect and credit to Retro, because they've given me like two of my biggest and best gigs in my life.
Nice one, but it does feel good, the success, doesn't it? Like
it's amazing.
Yeah, I've always had this mantra of I've had people talk to me like shit, like within the scene. I've thought, well, that's fair enough, but you've got to remember that when you're on the way up, you meet these people on the way back down.
I was on about that on Facebook the other day.
But like that's what it is, isn't it? It's just one of them things. Success to me is just enjoying myself, and as soon as it's not fun, I'll stop. But yeah, just be humble.
Getting asked the DJ, just getting a booking, that's the success. That's what it's all about. But
people noticing, isn't it? Yeah.
But obviously making people happy and stuff and dance and
they're investing in you as well as a promoter, so they must think you're valued or something.
Yeah.
Right, next question. Hiya mate, as a DJ, everyone has a signature tune or tunes they are known for. What's yours? This podcast makes my Friday morning bearable, and that's from Ryan.
Probably my favourite tune ever made, Paul Van Dyke for an Angel.
Right.
That can either be with the old Lover vocals, Rachel McFarlane vocals on top, one or the other. General bass, I See You.
So have you got these people who follow you and they're like, I know, I'm waiting for Gary to drop this.
Yeah, probably. But I tried, and also WAB Loving Times is one, and maybe Four Strings Take Me Away.
Yeah. Oh,
But,
absolute anthems.
Yeah,
As well,
I mean, I try and not play. Sometimes, in fact, System F Cry as well. In fact, that's one. But I try to avoid playing them because, like, I just don't want to be in every set.
Yeah.
But if people, but I've always seen myself as a crowd pleaser. So if people want them, I'll just play it. You know, if they want, they're there to hear that, and they want me to play that, so I'll play it. Like, but I mean, that's for that kind of thing. Retro, Chosen Few, Nobody's Business, maybe. With Bounce, it was always Alex K, the Beat Pounds, maybe.
Yeah.
And
Class tune.
Secrets, was that Fitzy Rossi B Secrets? I think it was.
Yep.
They were kind of my all, the ones that I all like.
Which version of the Beat Pounds was it? Is it the one with the dinky riff in? The dun 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 dun.
Yeah.
Because he did release 2, didn't he?
It was like the old, I think like kind of
the dinky one. That was a more popular one.
Yeah, definitely was that one. Yeah.
He did one with like hard house hoovers. It had like hoovers instead of it.
It wasn't that one. It was the
the
one.
That's everyone's favourite, isn't it?
Yeah. That they were kind of my signature tunes at the time. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, but actually all bangers, to be fair, aren't they? They're all big anthems. For me, I'll do another thing that I'd say that's out behind the curtain. I've got a formula in my head. I've got a bit of a, not OCD, I wouldn't say that by like...
I've got bad OCD. Like.
Yeah, but my thing is I'm one of these DJs, I like to play music that you didn't know you wanted to hear. So what I do is...
See, I'm like that, but I always tend to play the ones that they want to.
I've got a 4-on-1 strategy. So what I do is I play 4 tunes that might be my own, that might be by somebody else, that I think that people know and they can sort of think to. And then on the 5th tune, I'll always play something I think, this is a banger. Nobody knows what it is, but you're having it anyways.
Yeah.
And then if it doesn't go down as well as the first 4, I'll just quickly mix it out. But it's a way of breaking tunes, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And then if I get a massive reaction out of it, this is my theory. It's all a bit convoluted, but I move that into the 4, the first one of the first 4. So next time, in my next set, if I feel like playing it again, I know that I can play that.
Yeah.
And then just the way it works. It's the same with producing tunes. I'll produce 4 like vocally tunes, which I know get a good sort of thing, and then the 5th tune I'll produce is like, it's always some experimental.
Yeah.
A lot of them have flopped. A lot of them have had moderate success, but. Yeah, just the way I in my head work. Do you know what I mean?
I kind of do that with like if I'm booked to play some anthems or whatever, because mainly a lot of my sets are classics.
Yeah.
But I'll chuck in, like, it's a bit like you, what you're on about there. Like, you'll play 3 and then 1, then off 3, then 1, or 4 then 1, and it's usually like a hidden, forgotten gem. You know, it's a classic.
Yeah.
But people have just totally forgot about it.
And then when they hear it,
yeah. But that might be a classic that no one's even heard of.
Yeah.
So like you're trying to like introduce. Although it's not new music, you're introducing it. It's new to them.
Yeah.
So
so my signature tunes. That, to be honest, I didn't know there were signature tunes until someone pointed it out. It's just tunes that I happen to play quite a lot. G-Spot Energy. That is a class tune, but it's only when I've listened back to sets when somebody pointed it out to me that you play that almost every bounce set, and it's because to me I just love it, and it's not necessarily something that anyone else plays. I've heard one person play it in the past, and that was 10 years ago. I've never heard it in the club, but so I like playing it because it's got like a big fat kick drum on it, and it's like it's very uplifting.
I was a bit like that with Stars and Breeze Are Shining. I think Stars and Breeze Are Shining, the Rescue mix, obviously the Big Ange, it's over now, the Ultra Beat one, and then what's it called? Rescue, Sweetheart, them 3. I always play
Big
them
tunes.
when I'm playing like that type of music. Always
Tunes. And
cheesy, I do love my cheese, like I proper love my cheese.
There's nothing better than because you took with floor filler.
Course.
And my second one is, I don't play it as much, but I've had other DJs say to me, that's like your signature tune. That like, to me, it's an edit I made of Gallus and Hall Priest Magic Nana. It's released like 2014, but it had a bit of traction when it came out. But I just warmed to it for whatever reason. It's not even that great of a tune.
I've never heard of it, to be honest. I've never heard that now.
I'll send you it after this, but
is that a bounce tune? Like,
it's a bounce tune, it's a bounce tune.
Have you bounced it up or what?
No, I've just made an edit of it.
Right.
Basically, I trimmed the fat on it because I thought, that breakdown's a bit too long.
Yeah.
So I just basically trimmed it down from a 5 or 6 minute track to like 3.5 minutes, and I can get it mixed in get the good reaction off it.
That's something I'd like to do, is do edits. I'd like, some breakdowns are really long. I'd like to edit them.
Yeah,
That's
it's you don't even need to be really produced.
I know,
if you've got
that's
some
why-
edit and stuff.
I know.
You could learn it in.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's
a
why.
day.
That's why I wanted it, because I know. Well, I don't know, but I'm sure it'll be quite easy to edit. Like, 'cause there's some tracks where the breakdowns, like, and I just think, come on, I don't want that. So usually I'll mix in before them bits.
Yeah, I find that I don't edit a great amount of tunes, but ones that I think these tunes are so good, but there's just something you just need to trim the fat off it a little bit. And some have like needless. Like I'm all for, like, I love mixing trance because it's got the long mixes.
Yep.
But some more modern tunes that have tried to incorporate that, they've got sections of like 16 bars where you just think you've not moved from when the bass kicked in. There's just nothing going on, and I just think I cut that out. If there's something where I think it adds to the tune, I'll leave it. But if there's nothing going on, there's no good riffs, there's no like vocal shots or anything like that, I'm thinking it's just pointless. So I'll just trim the fat off. And last question of the day, and then I'll ask you my last question. Since though you mentioned you're a massive fan of Greg's, what's your go-to sandwich, dessert, and drink from there? And that's from Jordan.
Who's the massive fan of Greg's, me or you?
Me. I mentioned it. I love Greg's. I go there every day.
To be honest, I love a hot chocolate from Greg's, like.
Yeah. So if you have
Sausage
to have
and bean melt.
sausage and bean melt as your main,
And what else was it, sorry?
dessert and drink, and you said
Dessert
chocolate.
and drink. I like a hot chocolate. Sausage and bean melt. What do I
So
like on it?
basically a sweet, a savoury, and a drink. That's what you're saying.
I like them donuts at 99 pence. Is it caramel donut or something?
Right.
Yeah, nice.
We always get a lot of food questions on here for obvious reasons. For me, I could go through so much, but like if you just one more, it would be the chicken bake. That's the white sauce one. I like that. Desserts is easy. Same thing every time. I just get yum yums. Do you know, like the long. They look like donuts, but like the long twists, and they've got sugar coating.
Oh, aye.
Fucking amazing, they're great. And my drink would be a caramel latte, large. There's your answer, Jordan. Right, so we're going to sort of tie this up. What I ask everyone is at the end, you're about to get the electric chair because you're on death row for whatever reason, and you've got one more meal. You can have whatever you want. What you're going to have? Anything in the world. From anywhere as well. You get it delivered to you.
Ooh, it'd be a toss-up between like a beef dinner or a full English.
No, not a bad choice, you know.
And it'd probably be made from my missus as well. she cooks up a good...
On your beef dinner, do you have Yorkshire puddings?
The works, yeah. Oh, but then again, no, a Christmas dinner, because there's stuff on Christmas dinner but you don't have on a beef or chicken dinner, isn't it? I don't know.
Pigs in blankets and...
Aye.
I only have roasted parsnips on a Christmas dinner as well.
I see things like that.
See, we're not just a musical podcast.
One of them free. I can't really put one on it. Probably a beef dinner, as long as I've got the horseradish, like.
Right, and what about dessert?
Probably maybe a sticky toffee pudding or something like that.
Nice.
Aye.
Anything to wash it down? Drink?
Can of lilt.
Not bad at all. Right, we'll just tie this up. Thanks for coming on, mate. Where can people find you, and what have you got upcoming?
Black Box mainly. I'm out there a lot lately, recently, but obviously Sanctuary on the 24th of September, Black Box.
Yep.
Then I've got Old School, the Over 25s event, which is the 22nd of October.
Yep.
And then Memories, which is the night dedicated to the late 90s, early 2000s dance music, alongside John G, Andy Kelly and Stephen J. That's on 26th of November.
Right.
I think it's 26th November. Last Saturday, November.
Yeah.
Then obviously I'm at a Zone in Blackpool at Flamingos, which is the 15th of October.
Right.
And I've got one more event coming up soon, which I can't really announce yet, but it's all to be released on Thursday.
This Thursday?
Well, is that a week tomorrow? Is it on Thursday now? Or is
We're
it
on Friday.
Yeah, this Thursday.
You can announce it then if you want,
It's
because
getting released.
because it won't be out until Friday, mate. So.
Well, it's Ben Hemsley.
Oh,
Ben
nice.
Hemsley's coming to Carlisle's playing at the venue.
I seen that actually on his tour date. I seen it was there to be announced. Or
Well, a man I know who's helped us. He's involved in like good grief and stuff. He helps my mate Si, who does the Rude Job Productions events.
Yeah.
He helped us getting booking like Matt Dirty, Dave Pearce and all that. And he's always at us wanting to put on events and stuff. And he says, so we've kind of like joined up together, but got involved with some young lads who run a house event called Picasso.
Right.
So we're gonna just throw it under their brand. And there's a girl from Dundee, I think it is, called Hannah Lane. Right. She's DJing as well.
Good,
Johnny Donnett's on it as well.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that.
Not bad. There you go. There's a little just announce. It'll be yesterday for everyone listening. Yeah. So where can people find you at then if they want to find you online? Your mixes or contact you or anything like that?
Facebook DJ Gary Kear, it's under. SoundCloud it's Gary Keeler, Gary Kear in brackets. Instagram, that's private. It's more for posting pictures of my kids and that. Really.
Yeah, right.
I use for music wise, it's mainly Facebook and SoundCloud.
Right. Yeah. That's
I've
problem.
got YouTube as well, but I actually don't know how to upload stuff to that. Technical wise, I'm an absolute novice. Like.
Yeah. Right. That's no worries, mate. I just want to say thank you for coming on. It's been a pleasure. I hope you've all enjoyed it. And a great insight into your career up until this point.
Yeah. I'm sorry I never said much more. There's so much more I could have said, but. Being on the spot, I can't think. But once I got the flyers on the album on my phone, it was all coming to my head. But I mean, I'd come on again one day and probably say more funny stories and stuff. And
don't worry, mate.
But yeah, I've enjoyed it. It was good.
Yeah, I will be getting you on when we sort of come round and we'll do a full cycle and do it again. I just want to say thanks for watching. Share with your friends. If you feel like you know anyone who would enjoy this type of thing, share it with them because you never know. You might be talking about it while you're sitting at work or something like that. The amount of people who've said that, show me mate this, and they've really enjoyed it. But like, there you go, insight into Gary KEELOR / Gary Kear's life and story. Hope you've enjoyed it. Nice one. See you later.
Nice one.